Wait for it, wait for it. This is slowly becoming my favourite car that I've driven in 2021. Now, the reason that I'm behind the wheel of an Audi RS4 is I love the RS6 so much that pretty much anyone that I spoke to, I was like, honestly, that was one of the best all-round daily drivers, ultimate performance cars that you can buy. What money can buy you at 100 grand, it's not far off ticking almost every single box. Well, Saxon 4x4 said, we might be able to do one better. We've got an Audi RS4 Avant in an interesting spec, which I will move on to in a little bit, that has got a stage 2 remap. It's got some clever intake bits up front and a full Miltech exhaust. It sounds amazing. It's got 550 brake horsepower and it's 47 grand. And I have to say, the way that the power is delivered, it delivers it in 2 stages. It's almost like it gives you a little bit of torque, then once it's happy with the fact that you've got full traction, you're going in a straight line and there is no chance of you veering off into a bush, it gives you this second wave of torque that almost reminds me of driving a McLaren 720S, the way that those turbos are engaged. And in this car, with Quattro, the size that it is, it's not too big. I think the RS6 is probably a little bit too big. And this sound, now I was not a fan of the fact that Audi had taken the 4.2 litre V8 out of the RS5 and the RS6, and they had replaced it with whatever's up front. The way that I drove the stock car, it was an A to B car. I didn't really get any character from the engine, didn't get any character from the car, and I felt the car felt a little bit numb. What the stage 2 remap has done is sharpen the response of the throttle, which is vital when driving a performance car like this. In comfort mode, in the Audi RS4 stock, you can kind of like get your foot on the throttle and not really do anything. But this, oh, did you hear this? Pops and bangs. Car's getting warm now. It picks up pace. I would say feeling faster than my Nissan GTR. And that's a quick car. I think this is slightly lighter, it feels smaller, it feels more nimble than the Nissan GTR. And with all of the smoothness of the German manufacturing mechanics, oh, I'm losing all of my words driving this car. This is closely becoming my favourite car that I've driven to date. And I actually really like the sound of this. So smooth. It has a high pitch-esque F1 tone to it, which is nuts. Pops and bangs that you don't really know when they're going to come out, which is nicer than when they're engineered into the car and you know exactly if you downshift at 3,500 RPM you're going to get 4.5 burbles, like with the Audi R8s and the V10s from the Hurricane. This, no pops and bangs. A little bit of pops and bangs. Listen to this. Oh. Listen to that. It's such a smooth and nice tone. It's totally different to the RS6, which is a V8 rumble. And what I said, let me try to do that again. Couldn't. What I said when I was driving the Audi RS6 was, a next daily for me has to have the sound. And I really loved the V8 rumble. I thought that was really my only option. Now the RS6 being at 110,000 pounds, it's silly money for a daily driver, and this is 47,000 pounds. It's not done that many miles, It's got some crazy modifications to it that aren't detrimental to the comfort modes, to the daily driver A to B. You've got the practicality of having an estate, but actually, if you go to the drive select, valve shut, back into 7th gear, coming up to a junction. How good is that? It's silent. Okay, need a bit of throttle here. What's this like? Oh my God, £47,000 for a car that I would say, given the power, the performance, the practicality elements, the niceness, I hate using that word, the technology that you're getting from an RS6 and you're getting in this car, this is about 90% a new RS6. Yes, you've got more screens down here in the new RS6, RS7, but the performance on a public road, 550 brake horsepower, I don't know what the Newton meters of torque numbers are on this car, but this is frighteningly fast in a slightly smaller package than the RS6. I actually see more. It's not a case of like being surprised that I see value for money in this over the RS6. I loved that car, and I think the road presence that it has and the sound that it has, being able to switch between having the ultimate daily driver but still having that road presence of people turning your heads as you're driving past it, and not just because it's red and silver. This, on the other hand, slightly more discreet. I'll give it that. The RS4 doesn't look as aggressive as the RS6, but at £47,000, it's pretty much there or thereabouts with performance. They're pretty much the same. On a normal road, they're pretty much the same. I actually really like the tone and the sound that you're getting from this car. As an exhaust expert, I will review it as 4 stars out of 5. You're not having this flame-throwing pops and bang craziness, but actually it's tastefully done. It's accentuating the tone that actually in a stock car I'd never even heard of. Even in dynamic mode on the stock car, I never heard the exhaust. Whereas on this car, it's accentuated to a level that's nice. It's not too intrusive inside the cabin, but it fundamentally feels like you're driving something more special than an Audi A4 or an S4. And I think that, to me, is the cherry on the top. It feels special when you're in dynamic mode. It feels like a sports and performance car. Oh, that has a little bit of character. That's not me getting emotional, that's just me running out of breath. I've probably rambled on so fast in this video, as fast as this car. It is insanely fast. I cannot describe that acceleration, and when all of the torque kicks in, it's so noticeable when you get it all at once. It's frighteningly quick. It is super, super practical, and as summaries go, at 47 grand, and you're getting 90% of a brand new Audi RS6, this is probably the best value for money car I've driven. And I just drove a supercharged 800 brake horsepower Audi R8 V10 Spider that was 100 grand. If this car was for sale in 3 months' time, when that Peugeot 508 GT goes back, which is my long-term loaner, and I'm in the market for a daily driver, if this is still on the market or a car equivalent, I will buy an RS4 and I will do these modifications to it, because this is probably the best it's gonna get in terms of daily driver, ticking all of the boxes. I thought the RS6 was, but this is so close to that car for half the price. It is an absolute no-brainer. What a car. What a drive. Everything about today has been so cool, and I cannot believe how much this car has surprised me. I don't really know what I was expecting, kind of went into this a little bit blind, did a bit of research, but was like, okay, let's see what happens. And actually, I've fallen in love with this car. This, with satin black, gloss black wheels, full nuke spec, done. Here's my card. You can take a small little deposit and I'll finance the rest of the car. Well, yeah, I didn't think that I would be in this position where I'm cruising around like going, yeah, I can genuinely see myself daily driving this car. I would take this down to Monaco with all of my stuff and be able to keep up with all of the supercars. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Completely underrated, gone under the radar until today. An Audi RS4 with a Miltech exhaust and a stage 2 tune. Tick, tick, tick. I'll see you soon, guys. Take care. Head into the link into the description. Check this car out. Don't buy it, because I want to buy it in 3 months' time. The best way that I can summarize this video. Take care. Goodbye.